Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today, in case you missed it, this was the Season 10 reveal stream for the Division 2's upcoming Title Update 16, which is releasing tomorrow, September 13th, and so as usual, I watched the stream, took all my notes, and I'm going to give you guys everything you need to know about what went down and what was announced. The most probably exciting thing for a lot of people is they did give us our first look, and, a good bit of detail about the new Season 11 PvE game mode that is coming, of course, like I said, with Season 11, so not this update, but the following one. So along with all the stuff that we learned about Season 10, we did get our first look at that, and I think it looks pretty exciting. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in that. We're going to get to that in just a minute. I'm going to go through everything they talked about, so without further ado, here's the information. All right, so today, Daria was here with Yannick to talk about Season 10, the Manhunt, countdown changes, the PTS, some of the findings they had on there, like I said, the Season 11 game mode, PvP, the ETF, Apparel Events, and more. So they mentioned Ubisoft Forward before they really got into it, just saying that happened, and there were a few announcements on there about Heartland and whatnot. The patch notes for Season 10 will go live tomorrow with the updates release, so you will not have those today to look over, but they will kind of coincide with the updates release. They first talked about the PTS changes, right? They said Phase 2 was very insightful, and they're thankful for all the feedback that they got. Some of this stuff has already come out, but they're just kind of recapping it for everybody. Bakaro's holster, the big controversial named item that has been, the source of conversation ever since it came out. Its final changes, at least for the release of these updates, is going to be a blue core, so it's going to come with an armor roll, a 15% weapon damage regular attribute, and one other random attribute. So you can indeed get two different core attributes, and the weapon damage one is 15%, but because of that, you lose one of the random attributes, so you can just get one other. I think it's a good middle ground. As I've said before, I'm still a little bit concerned that you can roll double red rolls, but we'll see how it goes. I think that'll be a good change that a lot of people will be excited for. They kind of stress that they use the PTS as a playground. They put some stuff in there that is knowingly too strong and some stuff that's too weak in order to find a good middle ground, and hopefully in the future people can kind of change their perspective on the PTS, because I think a lot of people view it with a lot of finality when that's not necessarily the case. They said that along Picaro Solster and some of the other changes that they have announced will be coming with TU 16.1, and that's just because the main release for the update, which of course is tomorrow, was already in the verification process with Microsoft and Sony before they had these changes ready to put in. So it will come to 16.1. Hopefully that'll come within, 2-ish weeks after the update's release, and that's when we will see some of those things take place. They said you can also check the known issues board for more information on stuff like strikers and exotic drops. And on that note about exotic drops, they said that they know and want them to be rare, right? People are saying they're very rare, and they know that. But really, their goal with it is to keep it rare, but they want, what they're really chasing with that change is the exciting moment where you get like an exotic from a random red NPC that you were never expecting. That's really what they're chasing, and hopefully that'll come to fruition when these changes go live. They then shifted over to Countdown, talked about some of the changes we can expect with that. There are, of course, new difficulties coming, 3 new ones. So the total breakdown now is there will be a normal mode that is intended for solo players, a hard mode for 8 casual players, challenging for 8 match-made players, and heroic for 4 to 8 hardcore players. You can, of course, queue into any of these with any group size you want, but those are the recommended amounts of players that they think will be good to tackle it with. They're also making economy changes to Countdown. They want more people to stay until the end. And so in order to incentivize that, the currency rewards have been increased for when you extract. They've decreased the amount of drops you get on the first wave of hunters that protect the countermeasures, but they have just shifted those drops to the end wave hunters at the extraction. So you're getting the same amount of loot, but it's now incentivized towards the end of the mode. And it's only a 15-minute session, so they say that hopefully that's not asking too much of people to just stick around for the whole thing. There are 10-ish new countermeasures. They have also disabled the group kick feature. They are looking for feedback on, though, if they need to change it for the future to introduce like a voting system for the entire team. They've also now fully released the Countdown trailer online because for whatever reason they were unable to do that back when Season 9 released. All right, then they got over to the Season 10 Manhunt and overview. We got a small cutout of the trailer that was shown during Ubisoft Forward. They now showed the entire thing. General Anderson is, of course, the prime target, and in the trailer you can see, and they talk about how Natalia Sokolova will indeed be involved, which isn't a huge surprise, but that'll, of course, be a thing. Both Black Tusk and True Sons, compromised together, will be the sub-targets for the season, and that's pretty interesting. They, of course, showed us bits of artwork for all of them. They pointed out that General Anderson is wearing Antoine Ridgway's jacket, which is a pretty cool detail. Captain Lewis and his relationship to Anderson will be explored, along with the lore and origin of the JTF. which is pretty interesting. And they said people who, have been fans of the division for a long time, ever since, Division 1, should find that pretty interesting. And I'm definitely interested to find out more about that. They showed the Season 10 trailer, which as a whole is fine, but I have to point out, you can see somewhere in the middle there, you'll see it as it goes by, they show the exotics, and they look awful. I'm sorry. It's the same problem that I had with Season 9, where the blue screen and the Dread Edict were just, I don't want to say copy and paste, but they're just paint jobs off of the original models. And you can see in this that the Busy Little Bee is just black with some yellow mods, and the Dr. Home is just white and red. And at least this time it looks like they have mods on them, whereas the ones in Season 9 didn't even have mods at all. So I guess that's slightly better, but I'm still very underwhelmed and unimpressed with these exotic looks. I would rather we only have one apparel event per season if it meant the exotics could get their proper treatment and look as cool as I think the past exotics have. That's just a gripe of mine. Maybe you all will disagree, but I was very disappointed to see that in this trailer, and so that is what we can look forward to seeing tomorrow with those. But they did show the trailer, and the rest of it looks fine. It looks like some pretty cool locations and stuff for the Manhunt. Should be pretty neat. They also then, of course, said that we were getting 2 new legendary missions with Manning National Zoo and Tidal Basin, and they liked the idea of filling out all of the strongholds with legendary difficulty, and that now will be the case with TU16. All right, the moment everyone has been waiting for, they then talked about Season 11's new game mode, which had a lot of artwork photos that I will, play and rotate as we talk here. It is a new PvE game mode called Descent. It is going to be a roguelike, which, for anybody who doesn't know, is a pretty popular genre among gaming. And what that really means for this is that you start with no gear, right? You're going in with the base core essentials of a Division agent, and there's really no RPG-ness to it. It's just really about your own power and how you tackle that as you progress through the mode. So they're going to use the mechanics of the mode to take on harder and harder challenges. When you die or exit, the rewards are the rewards that you earn in the mode to power up or lost, and you start from scratch when you go back in. There is no loot in the mode. You acquire talents and combinations of new perks to progress. So as you clear a room, maybe you're offered 2 new talents, and you can only pick one of them as you progress and kind of build your own playstyle that way. They said you create brand new playstyles to the game, and you can become super powerful once you get further into the mode, and it's all self-contained. You're going to need to use cover, weapons you're not used to, going back to the basics of what the Division is all about. You can't really face tank your way through stuff, at least not at the beginning. And I think this sounds really cool. It's on target for Season 11. They say they will take the time that's needed, though. While I was looking through these photos, it kind of looks like the cut mode that people really speculated was planned to originally come with Episode 2 in the Pentagon. Because you can see it's like DARPA research labs and stuff. So I don't know if they will say this takes place at the Pentagon, but it certainly looks like it. And I would say this really blends underground and survival from Div 1 in very interesting ways. Of course, Descent is the name of the mode. You're going deeper and deeper, what it looks like, into the DARPA labs. You're going into these new environments to take on new threats. With no gear. And so that kind of blends the idea of underground where you're going through procedural generation deeper and deeper, and survival where you start out with nothing, and kind of blending those in a very interesting way to create this roguelike experience for the Division 2. And I think that'll be really interesting. I'll be curious to see what people think about it. I think it'll be pretty fun. And so, they said they won't have any more information to share for a little while. Of course, we're just starting Season 10, and this is meant to come alongside Season 11. So we still have some time to go there. Very curious to hear everybody's thoughts about the new Descent game mode. They then talked about the Elite Task Force. They said that they wanted originally to have it formed for Season 10's release, which is of course tomorrow, but busy times had happened with Forward and Season 10 and all of that. So the applications are still being processed, and once they make their decisions, invites will be sent out ASAP. They say they received over 3,000 applications, and so they don't want to rush through those and invalidate anybody, so they're taking their due time to go through that, and they don't want it to just be content creators. They said that's a common complaint that they get, that the ETF is just a big publicity stunt. They said there will be some content creators is what they said, but they do want there to be top of leaderboard PvP and PvE players, casual players. They want everybody to have a say within the ETF, and that's really their goal, and that's why it's taking them so long to really go through it, because they want to do it justice. And so that's what they're doing. And they said they will, once they have their decisions and they're ready to send stuff out, they will announce everything on social media once all of that process begins. And so we can hopefully look forward to that in the coming weeks. They then talked about PvP. They want to further work on and improve PvP, as we've heard them say before, but that is not coming in Season 10. The one important change that is coming in Season 10 is they are bringing the Shrapnel Trap nerf that people have wanted for such a long time. It's not quite a nerf, because what they really did is just basically neutralized its power, right? They wanted to fix it, and that's kind of why it was taking so long. They were trying to make it work in a more organic way, but they were not able to do that. Apparently, it's super complicated for whatever reason. So they've just gone in and drastically reduced its power until that can happen. Yannick said it's basically useless to have it on in PvP. And this is a PvP only change. It is unaffected on the PvE side of the game, so you don't have to worry there. They said Season 11 is really where you can start to look for them bringing more PvP changes. What they want to do in that update is mostly along the lines of addressing bugs, fixes, and balancing. Kind of the biggest elephant in the room PvP issues that people have been complaining about that should be addressed in Season 11. And they said once that is all set straight, they then want to go on and hopefully do more bigger things in the future. They want the conflict in the Dark Zone to function and provide a fun PvP experience. And so they said there will really be no big PvP overhaul update, but instead they will do little bits of progress every update to hopefully reach that goal down the road in the future. I think that's a good thing. Obviously, I'm a PvP person myself. I would love to see that happen. And so, I'm crossing my fingers. I hope it turns out well, but I will be interested to see what we get with Season 11. Moving on, they then talked about the Season 10 apparel events. The first one will be SHD Paragon, which is, this is where the specialization gloves were meant to be from the PTS. They're going to be specialization outfits. So we're getting 6 outfits, one for each specialization. They showed the sharpshooter one here. Looks pretty cool. I think that one will be pretty fun. They then moved on to the second of the 2 events, which is Dark Path. This is going to have 5 outfits, and it's basically a Halloween-themed event. That's why it has a baby mask, and it's kind of like weird. All the different outfits are going to be very different from each other, was my understanding, and it's kind of that Halloween-themed event. I didn't see on the calendar when this event is starting, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's right around the 31st of October. And it looks like the chest pieces will be the new apparel skin item for Season 10. The way the backpacks got their own apparel skins in Season 9, it looks like chest pieces will be getting their due in Season 10, and that's pretty exciting. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about that. They then moved on to just a live Q&A to kind of end everything out, but they did touch on a lot of interesting things here. The first was there is no update on the specialization rework, kind of same languages before. It's taking them a while to relearn since the whole team who originally built it isn't on the game anymore. And they don't want to ship something that's unsatisfying, and so until they feel it's ready, they will not release it. They said we will not be getting any extra info on the Descent game mode. They're very much still working on it, but of course it will be on the PTS whenever that goes live for Season 11. Exotic components in the Dark Zone. People were asking if that's going to go into your inventory directly or you're going to have to extract it. It will go directly into your resource bag, so you don't have to worry there. The DZ targeted loot bug is still being investigated. They said it just hasn't been high enough on the priority list up until now, but now that Season 10 is tackling some of those quality of life things, they're going to look at it much more directly, and so hopefully that can get changed not too far down the line. Someone asked about hardcore mode achievements. They said this is not planned, but it is a possibility, but they said they do want to revisit hardcore mode in the future, so I guess that's probably a year 5 thing, but maybe we have that to look forward to. People were asking if we might get even more legendary missions in the future. Yannick said this is not off the table, but he did kind of stress something he said during the Season 9 stream, which is that they need to investigate difficulty as a whole, with expertise being present. How are people tackling difficulty in the game, and does a change need to be made there? He said that's probably more likely to happen before introducing new legendary missions beyond the ones we're getting in TU16. They talked about the PC crashes and the deltas that they are continually investigating. They have 10 new fixes coming in Season 10 to help PC stability, and they're, of course, still looking at more for the future. Extra character slots people asked about are not being investigated. As they've explained before, that would create even more server lag along with increasing stash space. Yannick said this is basically a storage issue is the reason why people are asking about that, and they are looking at that for the future. Year 5 is happening, of course. They're working on it, but no info as of now. And they say they will be releasing the Recruit a Friend Hunter outfit. That's the black and yellow one, the Stinger one, in the store for textiles at some point during Season 10. And then they also showed that there is a new one-time limited offer that's coming to the store for 2,000 premium credits. You get a free 1,000 and you get a free bonus outfit that's brand new. So that should be pretty cool if anybody is interested in that. And then to wrap up, they, of course, reiterated that Price of Power Season 10, the thing they were focusing on here, releases tomorrow. That's Tuesday, September 13th. And Daria gave one last tease at the end that the location of the Season 10 Prime Target mission will be a big surprise, and that mission should be pretty fun. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I mean, the story of Season 9 was great, and I can't wait to dive into Season 10's. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on to be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts about this Season 10 reveal stream and the information we got in it. What do you think about all the details for Season 10? Again, that's releasing tomorrow, so we should have a lot of fun stuff to dive into very soon here. I think the main thing that everyone's going to want to talk about is, of course, the new Season 11 game mode, Descent. I think we got a lot of good information. Like, obviously, it's still a work in progress. They couldn't show us gameplay or anything like that, but they showed us artwork that gave us a good idea of what the mode is going to be about, and I think this this is what a lot of people were hoping we were going to get, something to this degree during Ubisoft Forward. I don't know why they didn't necessarily take the opportunity to do that. I think it probably would have been good exposure for the game, but regardless, we have the information now, and I will be very curious to hear everybody's thoughts on that. I have a feeling people are going to be pretty happy. I mean, we'll see. Oftentimes that is not the case, but yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'm very curious about that, as well as anything else, PvP, the ETF, whatever you're thinking, let me know. And as always, I'll be very curious to read through everybody's thoughts. That's going to do it for me today, everybody. I will see you tomorrow in Season 10, TU16, Price of Power. And yeah, should be a good time. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. And until the next one, guys, RogueGold.